Guys, we're going to start though in the Premier League and some big news coming out today with Manchester City. And this is a big one because there's been an investigation that's been going on for 4 years now. And the investigation claims that there are over 100 breaches of fair play from 2009 to 2018. They're also being accused of not cooperating with the investigation. So now there's an independent commission who has stepped in. This is unprecedented territory, gentlemen, with as long as the investigation has been going, the amount of breaches that they're being accused of. Manchester City, of course, denying all of this, saying they have evidence to prove otherwise. But I mean, what do you even make of this, Wheels? I mean, if this is true, what should the punishment be, considering we've never seen anything to this kind of extent?
Over 100 reported breaches. They got away with it a few years ago, taking their case with UEFA to the Court of Arbitration for Sports, and were bailed out to the chagrin of many, where there is clear evidence that's being presented that there's been numerous, over 100 breaches when it comes to financial fair play, which equates to breaking the rules, cheating, and then not obliging and not agreeing with and not complying with investigations afterwards. This is egregious. I think that we all knew it was coming. They had the audacity, Manchester City, even a few weeks ago, to come out and say they bring in more commercial revenue than clubs like Real Madrid and Manchester United. It's like, what? Who are you trying to kid here? They're a bunch of cheaters. The Premier League should absolutely throw the book at them. I don't care if it's retroactive. I don't care if it's future facing. The line needs to be drawn in the sand. And this is why clubs like this, Juventus, a 15-point penalty,
Mm-hmm.
Barcelona, the makers of their own demise to a certain degree. I know they're playing well in the field, but going through bankruptcies and restructures. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, they continue to push for the Super League, so they can spend what they want. They can abide by their own rules. And what they take away a club like Manchester City, it's not just cheating against your Premier League opponents, it's cheating against the footballing pyramid, both within England and abroad. When your success is coming in a nefarious way, and it's at the at the expense of others, there's a knock-on effect there. It's not right, and it's about time that the Premier League and the governing bodies at B come out and absolutely throw the book to end this nonsense once and for all.
I do want to point out, because you do mention UEFA, and the reason why the Court of Arbitration for Sport overturned UEFA wanting to suspend them for 2 years was because of time. Like, it was just an expiration of time. They said the time they were going back to say that this is when all of this happened, they said, well, that was so long ago that it's expired. So that's why it was on a technicality, not because they were found innocent, which is why it's worth noting that, Gareth. So, Ollie, I'll pass it on to you on what you make of this.
Well, I think we've all known for a while that, like Wheels mentioned it there, City's commercial revenue has been very difficult to believe. They announced last year that they made more commercial revenue than any other club in the world, a record-breaking number. This isn't Real Madrid. This isn't Manchester United. This isn't Barcelona. This is a relatively new club at the top level that does not have the same kind of fan base, the same kind of popularity around the world, despite their success and despite the brilliant team they built. So believing that, I think, was always very difficult. There was a lot of shady stuff going on as well with like Asian sports books that were set up like a few years ago and then suddenly dropped a few $100 million on a Man City partnership, like with CEOs that didn't exist and stock photos on their website and things like that never really added up. So I think some of this has been an open secret, but like, you see the list of rule infractions that the Premier League has put out. Like, if this comes through, and City will appeal, obviously, but if this is kind of formalized and they're found guilty of all of this, it will be the biggest crisis in Premier League history. Like, this has been a dominant club of the past decades that's being accused here of cheating, of their success being based on cooking the books, essentially. And again, so like Will said, that's not just City's success, that's at the expense of all the other clubs who have been competing with them. So obviously there's going to be some time, I think, and this will take a while for it all to kind of filter out and pan out. But if they're guilty of what they're accused of, then it's going to have massive implications, and I would think would be associated with a huge punishment for Man City.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with both gentlemen wholeheartedly. I just want to point out, Wheels, I agree with every single thing that you said. I just heard a tint of Manchester is red in your voice as well. Like, you're like, yo, I'm with the Reds. City is not where it's at. Just a little joke. I agree with what you said. I'll say this as well. If you go back 20, 25 years, a lot of people will be maybe an Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United fan. City has been killing the league for like a decade. And then to know that this could just be on cheating or falsehood, it would break a lot of football fans' hearts. But I also will say this: a toddler, if they do something once and they feel like they can get away with it, right? It's detrimental. They'll just take it and they'll go, instead of a yard, they'll go a mile. It's the same thing with City. You got to nip it in the bud. You can't be cheating. If this is docking points, if this is stripping titles, whatever it needs to be to send a message, it needs to be done, because it can't be. Football is one of those things that should be pure. It should not. You should not have cheating and embezzling or whatever might be going on in there.
Okay, so since they've been accused of this, they've won 6 titles. When we say we're in unprecedented territory, Ollie, do we take those away?
I have no idea. Like, I don't know what the answer to that question is. Is it just a points deduction like Juventus got? Could they be kicked out of the Premier League? Could retroactive? I don't know. I suspect not, to be honest with you. I don't think it will be. I think they'll probably get similar punishments to Juventus. But the bigger consequence for Man City might be that if this is like a prolonged legal process, if wrongdoing is confirmed here, Pep Guardiola is not sticking around, I don't think, to see through all of this. He already seems like he's pretty down in the dumps as it is. You pile this on top, I don't think he's going to be there that much longer.
But Ollie, what does Pep know? I would love to know how implicated he is, because the reports indicate that Roberto Mancini, when he was manager, was being paid by multiple clubs to skirt around financial fair play. You're telling me that Pep knows nothing about this? He might be stuck in the middle of this mess. Like, the best manager in the world aligned himself with Manchester City. That's it never made much sense to me why he would choose City over everyone else. Is because he'd spend whatever that took in order to take. And I know he talks about, we're the 5th most net. They've done a wonderful job selling players. They've done really good business. The football operation has been a thing of beauty. It's been near perfection, other than their lack of success in the Champions League. But you can't get away with doing this stuff off the field. And Andy, like, in terms of what, I don't think you can take away their titles, but in North American sports, we love that asterisk, don't we? You put an asterisk beside it.
Houston Astros have it.
So it's a tainted victory.
Took that away from them.
Points deductions, transfer bans, and fines. And with that, like, I look at what's going on anymore. This could cost them the potential of maybe going out and getting a Jude Bellingham this summer. Like, and that will have a big knock-on effect. Is he going to Liverpool, the state of that club right now? Probably not. It's like, that could be a club-altering move if Bellingham, he will be available. But where does he go? Is it fait accompli now? He goes to Real Madrid. So there's going to be future knock-on effects here, no matter what retrospective punishment they might give.
Yeah, and I do think that those titles will have asterisks, because we've seen this before, and that's why I was going to bring that up, right? Even the Houston Astros, absolute proof in MLB that they cheated.
Barry Bonds, like Mark McGuire,
I feel like Brian Clough at Leeds. You can put all your medals in the bin because you won them by cheating.
Put a big X next to those weddings. But by the way, like I said, it's now gone to an independent commission, because they've also claimed that Manchester City was not cooperating during this 4-year investigation, but that will be behind closed doors. So now we just sit and wait, gentlemen, to see what they come out and what they find and what ends up happening here with Manchester City. But to your point, if we start seeing Pep, like, people start disassociating and disconnecting from the club, you start to know that things are going down.